Alan! Who the... What the... Hey! Get out of here! Wait, who are you? Who sent you? I want answers, brother. Anyways, this is our podcast for me, so I'm gonna take care of this guy, and you guys can watch Wrestling with the Paranormal. Welcome, everyone, to Wrestling with the Paranormal.
The only paranormal podcast made by wrestling fans for wrestling fans.
Hello, everyone. My name is Canada Dry.
And of course, every paranormal show's going to have a magician. That is, of course, me, Liam Wakeland.
All right, so we got some interesting stuff for you today. We'll put the banner on. Take it off in a second. So this is Mysteries of New Mexico's Underground. Oh, let's see if I can change it. Part 2.
Part 2, that's right.
Live action on the fly. We fix things when they don't need fixing.
There you go.
So yeah, we got Mysteries of the New Mexico's Underground Part 2 today. And this thing's, talk about going down a rabbit trail. This thing goes right down. We're hearing some weird stuff.
It's that bad. We've had to do a part 2. This is the only time we've done this so far.
Well, I've done it with the previous hosts before they were abducted. We don't know. You are a brave man being the co-host of the show with me.
That's right. I may not be here next week.
What happened to Austin?
Who knows?
What happened to Craig?
Who knows?
Exactly. So you're brave being my co-host. Which brings me to our other character on the show, George Penning Ledesibel. Come on in, George.
Hey, George.
That's me.
Now,
Hello.
I don't know if you were listening to what we were talking about, but all the co-hosts on the show go missing. Are you worried about disappearing?
Nope. I'm part-time.
Well, you were here for our other co-host. You were part of the show before he disappeared.
Looks like his beard's been abducted.
George's beard has been abducted, so they couldn't get the full. They couldn't get him, but they got his beard.
Damn it! So that's where that went.
There you go.
And who knows? They probably added it to my hair in the back, made it extra long.
So a little later, we're gonna do Bowler Truth, and you're gonna tell us a paranormal story, and Liam and I have to guess if it's true or not.
Now, don't forget, George, last time you did this, you actually failed it on my show.
And welcome, Noob. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Noob.
He's no noob, damn it. So what do we got today?
Well, we've got some exciting news in as what we call the effing galaxy.
Oh, yeah, we got a little thing that we show, don't we? That was the most beautiful silent movie I've ever watched in my life.
Always. You can never beat that video at all, can you?
So what do we got first?
So, of course, the face of effing wrestling, Miss Natalia Markova, has some exclusive pictures coming this week. Canada Dry. Can you enlighten people on this?
Enlighten? No, I can't. No, just kidding.
Be careful there.
So Natalia Markova is going to be modeling two of our T-shirts. our Effin' Wrestling shirt that you see. I don't know if you can see it. You see it there.
Sweet.
Anyways, don't need to do that. Making everyone dizzy. Yeah, and she'll be doing the All Effin' Wrestling Show shirt as well, and we'll see how that goes. And I'm sure they're going to be awesome. Natalia Markova, she's actually going to be on the podcast this month on the All Effin' Wrestling Show.
Oh, I'm super excited for that.
Ooh.
So yeah, she's had a bit of a busy run here. We wanted her in August, but she was booked up, and we couldn't get her in. She's got a deal with I guess the NWA helped her with a deal for sunglasses.
Ooh.
She is modeling these beautiful.
What did they say again? I can't read them.
You are looking in the wrong place, mister.
You got me.
Pit Viper sunglasses.
Can we just leave that there because it just covers George up?
Wow, how rude. How rude.
What?
There's another picture, official NWA picture.
Nice boots.
Boots with a T at the end.
Yes, not a B.
Those are lovely boots. Meow, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so Natalia Markova will be on the podcast this month. I haven't not nailed down a date, but it will be this month, and probably sometime next week we will get those exclusive Natalia Markova Effin' Wrestling T-shirt photographs.
I'm super excited to see those.
Yeah, me too. I so am. Okay, what do we have next on the docket?
Well, there is, of course, a divide in AEW. AEW Team Elite versus Team Punk. First, what do we think?
Well, we got a really cool picture for this.
Yes, we do.
Oh, it is that one.
We're all kind of lucked out. So I love that the person took the time to like really do detail on that belt. That is pure cardboard belt, but they drew out those little details on it.
That is brilliant.
And
That's 3D printer levels.
The muffin. Punk's eating a muffin.
Now, is that milk that he has? Is that supposed to be milk that he has? Or is that...
I don't know what that is.
I think it's milk. I think George is on the point there.
I don't remember him having milk on the pre-show, though.
I don't remember. I don't remember if there was like something by him or if there was just like a
it was
blob.
those cans. It was those cans of drinks he had. That's what those were.
Oh.
Yeah. He couldn't get the right color, I guess, though. So there is a divide between AEW fans right now. And it kind of gets even worse when you got the WWE fans chiming in. So they like to oh, AEW is sinking because of this thing between AEW Team Elite and Team Punk. So the question is, how do we get over this divide? Any thoughts, Liam?
I mean, the thing is, I don't think we can. I think Punk is one of these guys where he's so over opinionated. I just don't think it fits in with AEW. That's what I generally think. But
you don't think there can be any reconciliation between the fans?
No, because I think the thing is with the fan base, and I'm sure you guys might agree, once the fans get something in their mind, it's really hard to make them go back to So, for example, is if they hate Punk that much, it'd be very, very hard for them to like Punk again. But that's just the fan base.
Well, not only Punk, but the Elite.
Yeah, also the Elite. I mean, I've not seen many comments on the Elite. Obviously, I've seen a lot on the Punk stuff, but
obviously we covered this on the podcast after Dynamite on Wednesday, and we pretty much buried the Elite on that show. I was surprised that we were all on the same page.
I think it says a lot, the fact that all three of them, well, obviously 4 of the main ones got suspended, so that says a lot on its own. Plus, they've been stripped of the titles.
Well, did you hear? Now, this is not to. We'll get George's thoughts before I make my comment.
Go ahead, George.
George, what do you think? Do you think that there's a way that they can that the AEW fans can get past this?
Well, I feel like okay, I'm gonna go in two ways a bit here. One is kind of just going off. I do feel a little bit that they have gotten over it a little bit. Now, this is like a small percentage, but that's only because of this past Wednesday that they proved that they could have this big debacle still go on, and basically the show must go on, which they did, and proving that the fan base still wanted wrestling because the show did well over 1 million views without your biggest hitters, CM Punk and the Elite, and that's all of them. And now for the other part, now it's the wrestling fan base. I don't really think they're ever going to let anything go. There's still stuff like 20, 30 years in the past and probably more that people are still going on about. So this is probably something that is going to be talked about for like the years to come, honestly.
Okay, so are you Team Elite or are you Team Punk?
You know what? After the After Dynamite last week, I'm gonna take the other end. I'm Team Elite.
Okay.
Because of you all burying the Elite. So
okay.
And it could probably make for good discussion. So.
Well, we're not really going to get into that too much, but I do want to say that they both had different versions of what went down. So in Punk's version, the Bucks broke into the dressing room after not getting any response from CM Punk, and they were kind of backed against the wall and was defending yourself against 3-on-2, and then others who came in a part of it. And in the Elite's version, they politely knocked on the door and got attacked right away. And Kenny Omega rescued the dog, and it was quite the different story, like night and day, right? Like
yeah, absolutely.
Like we just knocked and we were like, "Hey, how's it going, Punk?"
The thing is, though, with the egos of them 4 people, can you actually see them just going, "Hey, I'm just making sure. Can we just talk?" I really can't see that, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't think. Maybe the answer is somewhere in between. Who knows? There's a lot of people. There's an investigation going on right now, and they're asking everyone what actually went down.
Yeah, I guess we shall see. But the reports obviously are that Punk may be getting fired. That's the one I've heard a lot at the moment.
Well, what about this first solution? You get rid of Punk and you get rid of the Elite. You get rid of everyone and you start from scratch. Because there's talk that it was the Elite that got rid of, that helped push Cody out the door.
Ooh.
Brandy Rhodes tweeted, "I've been way too effing nice." So there was talk from one of our sources that the Elite were bullying Brandy Rhodes.
Is this just telltale?
For me, that one's a little more hard to believe because there could have been a lot more throughout the whole of AEW, especially the fans towards Cody, that he ultimately wanted to leave, especially when he said he had to basically call like some of his closest friends like Matt Cardona and stuff, and why he didn't re-sign with AEW at the end of his current contract.
I guarantee you, we will find out much later, and I will say this to you, I told you so. Because the last time I said this to everybody. I said, Thunder Rosa, I told you so. You know how much heat I took for my
Yeah,
hate on Thunder Rosa?
I remember this.
No one's hating me now for my feelings on Thunder Rosa. They're all agreeing with me. So you will
That
find out later down the road that Cody Rhodes was pushed out of AEW by the Elite. You'll find that out.
Yeah, I think with something like what we just talked about there, we could have a full blown episode just on this, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah. So we've been talking about this for quite a while. What do we have next?
So we'll finish off the effing Galaxy with now Clash of the Castle was Saturday just gone. We saw a predictable heel turn with a Mysterio called Dominic. What do we think, guys?
Go ahead, George.
Well, finally he turned heel. Now he can be like his real father, Eddie Guerrero, and he can lie, cheat, and steal all he wants. And he also has his Mistress Rhea Ripley to serve. So I'm all seeing for what happens next.
But do you like it?
Yes. For the most part, yes. Even though I don't think he's done much yet, but give him more to do.
Yes, I think that's what we can see on that one. The thing is, though, I mean, I've got a question for you both here. Do you think heel turns are predictable in wrestling?
Not if you do it right. If you do it right, the problem is that they played their hand when they already had him join the what are they called? Retribution? No, Judgment Day. I got to make the other guys. They named them both after pay-per-views. You realize that, right? Retribution and Judgment Day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Judgment Day.
Yeah, they already had him join Judgment Day. Why are they having him join again? Like they tipped their hand the first time.
Yeah,
Mm.
I think.
Yeah, good
that's well
point.
said.
You know what else I don't like? Is this father-son bullshit they got going on with feuds in wrestling right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
I mean, when Ray turned on his father, when Dom turned on his father, I really wanted Ray to go, "Son, you are grounded," and just ground him right there on live TV.
Well, like even the acclaimed, or not the acclaimed, the Ass Boys and Daddy Ass. Is that believable?
Mm.
You like? Can you actually picture somebody turning on their dad like that?
What?
Well, under certain circumstances, yes. But these are very, very dark circumstances, so
To turn on
we'll
your,
just
your
leave
own
it
father,
there.
it would have to take a whole lot, right?
Just
Like
make sure he's not Darth
like he's
Vader.
abusing your mom or something.
Yeah, I mean Brock Anderson as well. Arn Anderson's son. He's obviously in AEW. I've not seen much of him. What's going on?
Yeah, that's interesting. It's almost as he was kind of pushed to the back after Cody left.
Yeah, I think you've said that pretty well.
Honestly, I was kind of hoping he would have maybe joined up with Stokely, like kind of like some of the others, but I don't know. Who knows? It might happen, might not.
Do you know when that guy first started in AEW, I wasn't too sure, but now I literally love the guy. He's brilliant.
So getting back to Dominic, is he in line to start winning some matches now, or
Hopefully.
he hasn't done shit up till this point, right?
Yeah, he hasn't done crap.
It kind of leads back to what you just said there. If they book it right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. If they book it right and they have the story right, it could have been very well put out. But
Saga Finn asks, why did he join Judgment Day? Let's see if someone can answer that.
Maybe he needed that change. I mean, he's not going to be under his father's wing. I mean, Rey Mysterio is a big name. I feel like if he gets out of that shadow, he can basically branch out on his own.
Absolutely.
Well, I feel like every time we usually have something like this or similar, as kind of eventual, we'll see them like stray away, but most of the time we don't know when that'll happen. But I feel like right now, hopefully they have something in mind that they want to do with him. Now I don't know if that's levels of push him to the moon,
I
but
have a text message here from Dallas.
Uh-oh.
He
uh-oh.
wants me to let you know that he thinks that you are the ass grabber in the group. He thinks that you are the ass grabber the whole time.
We're not to my segment yet, Dallas. Damn it.
Well, let's go to our segment then.
Which is called.
Which
What is
is
it called?
called?
Yeah, what is it
What's it
called?
called? What's it called? I don't
There
know.
it is.
Bull or truth?
Bull or truth?
Good thing our interns write this down.
Stupid interns.
Stupid.
How do you feel about the interns, George?
They're doing all right, but they're this close to getting
Well, remember,
replaced.
you used to be an intern, so you can't be too hard on them.
But I climbed the ranks.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if the
They're
intern's
still
not
new.
doing good, if the intern's not doing any good, that means you've not done your job right.
Do you know how much ass George had to kiss to get on this show?
I have no idea.
You mean grab? Wait, what?
Oh, he is.
I don't
the
know what
ass
happened
grabber.
there.
He is.
Who
the
said
ass
that?
grabber. If you
Me.
don't know what we're talking about, in a previous episode on one of the Bulls of Truth, he said that there was someone's ass was being grabbed all night in one of his stories, and we didn't know who it was, and so we're still trying to find out who the ass grabber in the group is, and Dallas thinks it's this guy right here. So we forgot to mention. Go ahead, Tom. What we forgot to mention.
My brain's gone absolutely. I've had a brain fart.
We forgot to mention that next week on Thursday night we have the Effie Awards, and that's for our AFW Prediction League. Also, the AFW
Ooh.
Hall of Fame induction ceremony, where people will be accepting their place in the Hall of Fame. So, if you want to be part of AFW, give us a click and join up.
Season is three. Is it season 3's about to start in a couple of weeks?
Should be tree.
Season 3.
3-piece.
Okay, so George, what kind of story do you have for us today?
Alrighty, so well, it starts out like kind of any normal night. So
I got both.
I was sleep.
Cold.
So I was sleeping, but not me, the person in the story. But I was sleeping partially through the night. Woke up and decided to get some water and just kind of get like, I don't know, go around the house for a while, like clear your head. And so his wife was in bed and his child was in the crib in the next room over until he gets his water from the fridge and he sits down in his chair in the living room until he looks up and then he sees this dark figure in the window right there just staring back at him. And this sends him into panic mode. His nerves are going, his adrenaline is shooting up, and he's basically frozen. He can't move. And then they continue to stare as if this is one of those staring contests that's not being recorded. And then the only movement he gets out of this man, because he's still frozen, is this back in the old cartoon days, like that evil grinishly little grin smile thing that old cartoon characters used to do. He gives one of those, and then a few seconds later, poof, he just vanishes. And all while this man is still there scared and frozen.
So does he unfreeze or is he still there?
Well, I'd say if he eventually does. Because by this time, or later that time, this figure is gone from his window. So eventually his brain has to send all its brain knowledge thing to the body and basically cool it off, whatever it does. So
All right. So this story is either bull or truth. What do you say, Liam?
I'm going to say this is true. There's just something about this story which really, yeah, I think it's true. I think, yeah.
I'm going to say this is pure, utter bullshit.
Now, do we want to wait for anyone in the comments?
No, not
No?
enough people are watching.
No. Please, we have all the spirits around, don't you know?
Don't
We
say
just
that.
can't see their comments.
Don't say that.
Well, anyway, getting to it. Well, ding, ding, ding. This one is bull.
Yes. Do you know how I you know how I knew?
Go on.
Because I
The
shaved.
way you see, I called it at the beginning of the show. I said bullshit. I brought it up to you earlier, but the beginning before we started. It's the tone of his voice. Did you pick that up?
I did not.
Okay, we'll see if you'll be able to pick it up next week.
Maybe I should do a story about us next week in your future vision or something. You can see the future.
Do you guys want to play one more round, but with me?
Have we got time? Yeah.
Sure,
Okay.
if we got time.
All right.
Liam's done one.
So this story happens in Guatemala, in the town of Antigua. Now, Antigua is built on an old, I guess native for them, burial ground. And Antigua is a bit of a tourist destination. And they got all these old buildings there. And they are opening a McDonald's restaurant in one of these old buildings. And so the day is going crazy. Grand openings. They're a lot of hard on the employees, and so at the end of the day, the manager's shutting down, and there's that bench at the front of the McDonald's with Ronald is sitting on it as well.
Mm-hmm.
And he sits down. He's like, "What a day!" And Ronald stretches out and says, "Yeah, I know," and then goes back to statue form. And that's the story.
Right. Okay. So I said true for the first one. I'm going to say this is bull.
George?
For some controversy, we're going to go with true. That statue is not a statue. It's a man. Or a woman. Who knows?
Well, it went back to a statue right after, so everyone was screaming because they all saw it. But this is a common ghost story that is told in this village, and people say that it is just a myth. So I'm going to give it to Liam with bull.
Yes.
But
Your words hurt me so.
But it's one of the craziest ghost stories I've ever heard.
Imagine if that were actually true, though. You just just in your where do you run, and then the statue says, "Hi, what the?"
Well, it could also be something that's playing tricks with your mind or something, right? And maybe it's not even, but it's making you see this statue come to life, but it's not actually. So
yeah, that is true.
Well, George, thank you for coming today.
And we shall see you next week.
We'll look forward to your comments, and you got Liam again, but you can't get me. And Liam,
we're going to change that.
All right, we'll see you next week, and we'll look forward to your comments in this comment section.
Bye, George. He gets me every time.
Oh, I forgot my notes. I'll be right back. Do a little dance or something.
I don't do dances. If I get 100 views on mine. Oh, I said that out a bit loud.
All right, I got my notes.
Thank God you don't hear that comment.
What did I heard you say something.
I said if I get 100 views, we'll do a dance.
100 views, and this man will do a dance with his shirt off.
Whoa, that's too far.
All right. So we got part 2, Mysteries of New Mexico's Underground. Um, so where do we got here? So during the summer of 1995, Phil Schneider gave lectures all across the United States of America. And so one of his friends was murdered, and it was made to look like a suicide. And Phil mentioned how threats on his life were happening, and threats to his family were happening as well. And they wanted him to stop sharing military secrets, but he believed that the American people, they needed to know this. So Phil came from a military family, and his father worked on the Manhattan Project. And forgot to mention this: Phil is a geologist and a structural engineer. So he's not just some guy um, that has no background of intelligence or education. He's very, very learned. Geologist alone, study of rocks, right?
Yep.
And a structural engineer. So those go right hand in hand in what we're talking about here, and that is the underground bases of
Yep.
New Mexico, and in particularly New Mexico, Dulce, New Mexico, as we talked about in the previous episode. Now, one of these lectures, he revealed that his hand was missing, like 2 or 3 fingers, and he said that these fingers were lost in a war with aliens that were in the secret base underground. And then he showed some metals and minerals that were made as experiments with the alien technology. So as he would close his last meeting, he said he would say every meeting he would say, um, "If I turn up dead, know that I did not commit suicide because I would never end my own life." So, oddly enough, uh, 1 year later, he was found dead in his own apartment, and it was quickly ruled a suicide. And we're going to get a little bit in on that a little later, right, Liam?
That's correct.
Like you'll get into the details on that. We
Yep.
just want to get that off the table. Is that he said he wouldn't commit suicide, but then he was found dead, and it was ruled a suicide. And there's some really shaky ground on that. So, anyways, Phil would say that there are bases underground all over North America, and there's 129 of them. It's actually DUMB, Deep Underground Military Bases. So it's dumb. Dumbs. So there's 129 of them, he claims. 9 of them are in Area 51 area.
Yeah.
And that's near what the hell's that? Groom Lake and Area 51. Now, he would talk about this tunnels that connected all of these bases. And These bases were connected by trains, Mach 2 trains. Now, this all happened, he claims, after World War II.
Yep.
After these military bases started being built all over North America and the United States. Uh, so he was able to give another thing he was able to do in these seminars is he was able to give so much technical uh, detail um, to these tunnels, and people were just astounded. But as you know, he was a structural engineer and a geologist. So even if the story's not true, he has the education
Mm-hmm.
to really impress people. So we're going to get into that also later, and the kind of the holes in it and all that kind of stuff. And is this a true story, or is this another one of George Penning's tall tales, if you will?
Well,
Um,
according to George, it's always near Area 51 anyway.
yeah, that's true. Storm Area 51, George. um, so um, he made the claim that these tunnels that the Mach 2 trains would go on, that the workers would go between bases, and they would just Mach 2 train. It would take them right to the next base. And he made the claim that they were not built with anything like we would know to build tunnels, like dynamite or blowing it or drilling it. They were done with laser technology, which is like, really?
Yeah, especially in them days.
Like this would get through rock and debris that is way harder to get through in just a drill, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in the 1970s, construction started at the Dulce area in New Mexico, and Schneider was asked to be involved, and they were getting to a certain part of construction that was kind of halted because they were behind schedule, and it was halted because every time they would get to this a certain depth, then they were drilling down, something would happen, and the machine would stop. It wouldn't wreck the machine, but it would just make it stop, and it wouldn't be able to go any further. And this was really putting them behind. So Schneider and one of the Green Berets, they got lowered down in a crane in a
Mm-hmm.
basket, and as soon as Schneider stepped off the basket, he knew something was wrong. He felt it in his bones.
Yep.
He could smell this weird, disgusting aroma, like a stench. And we kind of talk about that when we talk about Bigfoot. He has that stench, right?
Mm-hmm.
So here under the tunnels, there's some natural tunnels that were also part of where they were drilling, and there was some weird soot that was around the tunnels, and this gray, tall, slender figure steps out from the tunnel, and right away, Snyder grabs his side piece, meaning gun, and shoots it dead. That is the story that he tells at these I guess conferences, if you will. And as soon as he shoots this one dead, two more appear, and he shoots one of them, kills him, and then the next one gets him with this blue beam, and it covers his whole body, and electricity shoots right through him, and he falls to the ground. And next thing he knows, the Green Beret that is with him is pushing him into the basket, and it's carrying him up, and the Green Beret is down there fighting all these aliens. Now, when he gets up, they find his fingers have been mutilated to the point where two or three of them are gone, and two or three toes are gone. And so this he gets off. He reports this to his superiors, and he's off the project. And they continue building this underground base. Because I imagine Schneider, if he's going to them, he's not going, he's coming them freaking out, right?
Yep, absolutely. Which anybody would really.
Yeah. Like, you're not coming, you got aliens down there. What are we going to deal with that? Let's work this out. Maybe have a meeting, a conference call. So this goes on. The construction continues on. And Schneider would say that 66 soldiers and countless aliens died in this war. Now, I guess I'll make the tag to you.
Thank you very much for the tag. Yeah, we got it.
You got the tag.
There was. So obviously, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into a bit more detail of the things you talked about briefly. So it was 1995, and Schneider obviously did a tour of the US to do these seminars, is what we discussed.
Yeah.
And we talk about the revelations of the military base. But unfortunately, he always struggled to talk about what he started. Like, one of the things he said was how he got his injuries was he had a shootout with federal agents, killing one in defense. Which kind of contradicts what you just said a little bit.
Did you know that? Oh, it went away. Did you know that Chuck Norris raided Area 51 once?
I did not.
That's back with aliens.
That's the fact of the day.
Now, that's not bull. This is probably true, right?
Yeah, that is probably true. Now, yeah, as I mentioned there, apparently he struggled to think of where he started. He said it were a shootout with federal agents killing one in self-defense, but also went as far as saying abduction of his daughter to avoid those lectures. Apparently, this was obviously a rumor. So this is pretty serious stuff, to be honest. Now, obviously, throughout the bombs, he was obviously doing these lectures. Now, it was January 1966, 2 months after his final speech in Denver. Special agents went to visit his wife, ex-wife, should I say, Cynthia. Now, they claimed that Phil had taken his own life. Now, bear in mind what we said before previously, that he would never do stuff like that. So this was a confusing
And also,
thing.
he's missing fingers.
Yes, absolutely. Now, obviously, they began to do a search of the house, and they took all notes of his lecture, everything to do with Phil, and then left.
So they said that he strangled himself, right?
Yep, that's fine.
With a tourniquet or something?
Yeah, I've got the fingers for it. So, and then authorities say suicide, but it's still never proven. A little bit.
So yeah, the thing is he wouldn't have been able to tie the tourniquet in order to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've run through the little thing. His body was found slumped between his bed and his wheelchair. So clearly the little incident he had under the thing caused some pretty serious injuries, to be honest. Let's be honest.
Well, yeah, George Penny, he said that someone was after him, and I would never commit suicide, so don't believe it.
Now, it was a rubber catheter. Now, that's like a tube thing. Now, this was wrapped around his neck 3 times and then tied in a knot. The angle where the body was situated, though, would make this impossible. Traces of blood were obviously found, but there was no injuries. He had no wounds, so there was like a mixture where the blood.
What's with that, eh?
that's the one thing I was really scratching my head with. There was no really weird.
Was it even his blood?
Who knows? I mean, back in
Could
them
that be
days,
the other guy's blood that he was defending himself?
could be. I mean, I think back in them days though, they didn't have all the technology we've got today. So now the family did ask for the suicide note. However, it was supposedly lost. And
Yeah.
this,
So I'm just going to come out right here and say it. In case someone tries to murder me, I would never, ever kill myself. You want to say it too?
I would never, ever, ever, ever kill myself as long as I shall live.
So-
you heard it here.
So if someone kills us,
You-
it's a murder.
There you go. Now it's interesting now because you spoke saying that it would be impossible now with his fingers missing. Well, one detective spoke privately with the family, and they said exactly what you've just mentioned there. It's impossible for him to obviously do that because of the injuries to his hands. Now, of course, the officer took this to his superior, but unfortunately, it was basically shut down and then got moved on to another case. So the impression I'm getting from this story so far is when somebody's like getting questions about it, they're like getting swayed away as the
Do you want
story
to read
goes.
that out quickly?
If someone who murders me, I don't care what they say afterwards, but their browser history will be. That's the worst thing.
I am displaying your browser history, George, for the world to see on this show. So don't go dying because we're going to show everyone.
Now, of course, what we're getting from the story at the moment is his death has raised a lot of uneasy questions, but it feels like when somebody's getting to the truth, they're kind of like getting swayed away. Like
Well,
the
the
coppers.
other guy, what was his name on part one? What was his name?
Was it Tommy
Thomas C.
Costello?
C?
Thomas Costello.
Yes. Thomas Costello. He was. They pretty much discredit him without killing him because they made him appear like a nutball. So I can be made to be appeared like a nutball. I can play a crazy guy in a movie really well. So don't kill me. I can be crazyfied. Just so you know.
You've got that villain vibe.
I have that villain vibe.
Something
I
never
am
thought.
up for the Heel of the Year award.
Well, there you go. If you win it, who knows? We'll find out on Thursday, don't forget.
Yes.
So, Schneider's testimony apparently is very compelling because of two specific reasons. The construction techniques which were used are used today, what Phil used back in them days. Now, this is, I don't know how true this is. This is more, is it more fact? Is it more myth? A little bit. And then the other one was the base layout, which we obviously spoke about before. Now, other people have obviously described the exact same layout, but these people have never ever met. So this is like the kind of confusing thing with me a little bit.
Well, you know what? They talk about all these underground bases. They say they underneath Skinwalker Ranch, there's something under there.
I think it probably is as well.
So could this be part of it?
Is it all connected? Who knows?
Yeah, because they're talking about 129 bases, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and the weird thing is I was watching an episode and the government regularly does a flyover that area. So why are they watching that empty field?
Yeah, there's definitely something under that ground.
Yeah.
Now, I'm just making sure I've got all the information correct. Now, of course, I think the impression we're getting from Phil is they're trying to make him out to be what we call delusional. Is that the correct word?
Yeah, but this is after his death, right?
That's correct, yes. So after his death, they tried to make him out his theories were delusional. It was exaggerated.
Well, let's talk about that for a sec. So after his death, it is now easier to control the narrative, right?
Yep,
Because
absolutely.
you don't have you got him shut up. You shut him up for good. So now you can now do what you did to the other guy.
Of course. Now, there's two interesting questions for this, which I cannot answer. If this was exaggerated like they claim, where did he sustain the injuries? That's the interesting question.
Right. Where did he lose his fingers?
There you go. I mean, the thing is, when in the lectures, it kind of like changed his story a little bit, so it's not really compelling or concrete in a way.
Well, we don't for sure know that he's missing toes. That could just be his story, right?
Yeah, I
He
think the
didn't
thing is,
show people. We know that he's missing fingers.
mm-hmm.
So could it be that he had an accident somewhere along the line at some sort of, you know?
Yeah, and the other question was, what happened to the notes for the lecture? That's the interesting one as well. Why did they take the notes away? What were on them notes that they did not want Joe to get out to the public, as they call it?
Here's another theory that we might want to discuss. What if he is incorrect, but he's such a powerful speaker, so compelling that the government doesn't want people going down this rabbit hole?
Are you saying
It
that
might lead
no
to
matter?
something else.
So are you saying that what people you can make any story believable if the person speaking it's like on point?
Yeah, like he came across like, he knows what he's talking about. He's just very charismatic. He's very knowledgeable, intelligence. So regardless if there's aliens in those bases or not, you don't want people to know about the bases. Period.
Yeah, I think that's the impression I'm getting here. As soon as somebody finds out about the bases, they're doing everything to cover it up, and if that means basically, then yeah, that's what we're gonna have to do.
So maybe there's no aliens.
But maybe there's something under there, like a mystery.
Yeah, maybe they're just like, we don't care how much of this is true and how much. Like, if I had a secret and you told part of it that was right, a part of it that was wrong, I'm not going to care about the part that you told wrong. I'm just going to care about the part that you told right.
Yeah.
Like you said, Aaron's got a new girlfriend, and I told you not to say, and she's also giving him $1,000 a week. I won't care that you made up the good part of the $1,000 a week.
Oh dear, but so yeah, my actual question to you on this is: do you think there's something under there, or do you think it's all bull or truth?
Okay. I'm not sure about the aliens, but I am 100% that those bases are real.
Yeah, I think I'm 100% with you on this one. I think the aliens thing is kind of made up, but I think there definitely is some sort of bases under there. And I feel like as soon as somebody gets on any inkling that there's something there, they'll do everything to like erase it. That even means like killing people, which is kind of serious because like what must be under there from to literally go to that
You know
length?
what's interesting is that the Bilderberg group. Do you know about them?
I briefly do.
So they have these weird meetings where they're kind of worshiping this weird satanic sort of thing, so kind of these weird rituals. And if these are the people in government, are they doing some weird science with spells stuff? Possibly.
So you're thinking like witchcraft and stuff like that?
Witchcraft mixed together with science. Is that possible?
It's plausible. It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, anything's possible these days.
Yeah. These days, anything's possible, right?
I mean, if you think about it as well, look what technology's out there. There's literally probably stuff we don't know about.
Well, think about this, holding a little mini computer in my hand. Who would ever thought when we had those flip phones that would be possible?
That was my first phone, a flip phone.
The Motorola?
Yeah, the flip phone. That was my very first phone.
Nice.
But yeah, I think that's all I've got on that. I feel like there was so much information. We did have to do 2 parts to it.
Yeah. So not just New Mexico and the town of Dulce, but it is really the United States
Mm-hmm.
that's built this. You think about the army and the money that America puts into its military.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's beyond staggering the amount. For the wealth of a nation like the United States to have people that are dirt poor while you're building these $1 billion military bases, right?
Underground as well, don't forget.
So like it's very plausible.
It is.
Now if I go missing, remember I'm the crazy one.
And if I go missing, I'll be back in a week.
We did talk about you could go missing, so
well, yeah. I mean, we still don't know what's happened to the other 2 previous hosts. So
you want to say this one?
You can't live with your life's choices, and where did that bring you back to me? Flip phones when they come back to take over touchscreens? Yeah.
Well, they do have the Samsung Flip now, which is the touchscreen that's just folds.
Yeah, I think there's quite a lot of them fold ones.
I don't know if those will. Well, I guess as the technology gets better, I don't know if I guess you want to be more compact, and then you could open it and have it big.
Yeah.
I don't know where this is from, but someone scrunched a little ball into this, and then just like scrunch into a little ball and just pull it out like a big piece of paper.
Boop.
Yeah. So yeah, let's do our favorite segment on the show,
which is called Knowledge is Power.
Knowledge is power. That's my song off the cusp. Little improv there. So here we go. Shot right there. That's going to be our thumbnail. That was really good. We pulled that off really well for a couple seconds. So,
yeah.
Do you want to go first or should I?
I'm happy to go first if you want.
Okay, I want to hear what you got.
So, kids, right? When you're going out for a walk, obviously with your family or with your friends or even with your dog, just remember one thing. You never, ever know what's underground, on the ground you're standing on.
But what's the lesson like?
That it's like you never know. It's like a mystery thing. Like what's under.
So just be careful around the ground.
Yeah, something like that.
When you're on the ground,
remember,
be very, very careful when you're on the ground. So, kids, now I've thought about this for a while, and now when you're drilling in the ground, you're gonna do it in your lifetime. You will. Everyone's drilled in the ground. Liam always drills on the ground. He's got a hobby. I do it. George, he drills. He drills on the ground. He drills a lot. I'm really worried, actually, George's drilling habits. George's drilling habits are kind of out there. But I digress. So when you're drilling in the ground and you happen to come across a stinky tunnel and you're just about to step out into the stinky tunnel, just get your ass out of there and run, because nothing good comes from a stinky tunnel. I gave the finger that time. I don't know if that's good for a kid's show or not.
You never know. Well, kids they're not daft these days. They learn everything.
Kids today. You know, if they're watching AEW, they see like these like 5 times in a show.
Especially from MJF.
You got MJF giving the finger. You got Chris Jericho giving the finger. You got Mox giving the finger. You know, what are you going to
There
do?
you go. I love George's Penning's comment. If you decide to go missing, dead man tell no tales.
Where is it?
The second one up.
I like this one.
No, the one above that.
Zero pierces the heaven.
That is true, though. Tell no tales.
That could be a Wrestling Paranormal shirt. Dead men tell no tales.
Exactly.
And then we could have Austin and Craig's face on it.
I would love to see that.
Rest in peace, Craig. Rest in peace, Austin. So yeah, that's our show. Tell them where they can find our stuff.
Well, you can head to effingwrestling.com. We're always putting stars on there every single time. You can head to... Did I mention we've got a Pro Wrestling Tee store? I did not. You can head to prowrestlingtees.com/effingwrestling. Buy yourself a Wrestling with a Paranormal shirt. We've got Canada Dry shirt over there. We've got the Effing Wrestling shirt. We've got loads, haven't we, Aaron? I'm sure we have.
Yeah, and as I said, Markova will be doing a promotion for that in the next couple of days. And remember, keep on wrestling with the paranormal.
Music. And remember, have your cat spayed or neutered. Help control the pet population.
Hakuna Matata is a wonderful phrase. It means no worries for the rest of your days. Hakuna Matata.
Kuna
And remember,
Matata.
just keep fighting.
Fighting.